Greetings from Edu Aspirants, our YouTube channel for competitive exams. We aid you all to ace academics, competitions, and entrance exams, as also enrich your knowledge. Let us see what we have for you in this video. In this video, we shall be covering the 8th chapter of India, that is Bharat, General Knowledge and General Studies, and the title of the topic is Commerce. India is competitive in international trade of agri products, plantations, engineering, textiles, leather, services, pharmaceuticals, marine products, gems and jewelry, as also chemicals and plastics. Global and domestic economic environment, despite global crisis, WTO hints at healthy prospects of India for global trade. India's robust growth has made India the fastest growing major economy in the world. Special economic zones. Asia's first export processing zone, EPZ, was set up at, yes, Kandla in 1965. The Kandla port is in Gujarat, you know. Special Economic Zones policy was announced in April 2000 to make SEZs an engine for economic growth supported by quality infrastructure complemented by an attractive fiscal package both at the center and the level of the states with minimum possible regulations. So these are the export processing zones in various states of India. The Foreign Trade Policy FTP 2020-2025 provided a stable and sustainable policy environment, and this was for foreign trade in merchandise and services and to link rules, procedures, and incentives for exports and imports with other initiatives such as Make in India, Digital India, Skill India, and ease of doing business to promote the diversification of India's export basket by helping various sectors of the Indian economy to gain global competitiveness. Merchandise exports from India scheme MEIS is a major export promotion scheme which seeks to promote export of notified goods manufactured or produced in India. For example, agricultural products, fruits, flowers, vegetables, tea, coffee, spices, value added and packaged products, handicraft, handloom, jute products, textile and garments, pharmaceuticals, surgical, herbals, project goods, auto components, telecom, computer, electrical and electronic products, railway, transport equipment, industrial machinery, IC engines, machine tools, parts of the machine, hand tools, pumps of all types, automobiles, two wheelers, bicycles, ships, planes, chemicals, plastics, rubber, ceramic and glass, leather garments, saddler items, footwear, steel furniture, prefabs, lighters, wood, paper, stationery, iron, steel, and base metal products. Anything left? I don't think so. Services Exports from India Scheme, SEIS, incentive scheme for eligible service exports was introduced in the Foreign Trade Policy 2015-20, replacing the Served from India scheme SFIS. So now it is known as SEIS. SEIS offers 3 to 5% of net foreign exchange earned as a reward. The FTP has introduced export of goods through courier or foreign post office using e-commerce under MEIS. As the regulatory structure of e-commerce export is still evolving, the scope of this scheme has been kept limited, and that is for now. Ease of doing business and e-governance, reducing number of documents, number of mandatory documents required for exports and imports have been reduced to 3 each for export and import. Earlier, 7 documents were required for exports and 10 for imports. Reducing number of schemes with a focus on supporting both merchandise and service exports and improving the ease of doing business. The Directorate General of Foreign Trade (DGFT) has consolidated 5 different incentive schemes under the earlier policy for rewarding merchandise exports into a single scheme, namely the Merchandise Exports from India scheme. The replaced schemes are Focus Product Scheme (FPS), Focus Market Scheme (FMS), Market Linked Focus Product Script (MLFPS), Vishesh Krishi and Gram Udyog Yojana (VKGUY), and Agri Infrastructure Incentive Script. Use of Electronic Bank Realization Certificate (EBRC) system has been extended. DGFT shares data generated by the Electronic Bank Realization Certificate (EBRC) system with 17 agencies. The EBRC system captures details of the foreign exchange received by exporters through banking channel. The Ayat Niryat forms used for making online application to DGFT was simplified, bringing in clarity in different provisions and enhancing electronic governance. Involvement of the states in export promotion. The Council for Trade Development and Promotion ensures a continuous dialogue with state governments and union territories on providing an international trade enabling environment in the states and creating a framework for making these states active partners in boosting India's exports. The state governments have been requested to develop their export strategy, appoint export commissioners, address infrastructure constraints restricting movement of goods, facilitating refund of VAT, octroi, and state level cess, as also address other issues relating to various clearances, etc., and build capacity of new exporters in order to promote exports. Many states have even prepared their exports strategy. Government e-market (GEM), the Directorate General of Supplies and Disposals (DGS&D) created a dedicated e-market for different goods and services procured, sold by government or by public sector undertakings. And it is a technology driven platform to facilitate procurement of goods and services by various ministries and agencies of the government. The portal was launched in 2016. GEM is a scalable system and being completely online, it is transparent and system driven, makes procurement of goods and services easy, efficient and fast. It covers entire procurement process chain right from vendor registration, item selection by buyer, supply order generation and receipt of goods or services by the consignees to online payment to the vendors. WTO and India. The 164-member World Trade Organization is the world's largest international intergovernmental economic organization that regulates and facilitates international trade. With effective cooperation in the United Nations system, governments use the organization to establish, revise, and enforce the rules that govern international trade. It officially commenced operations on January 1, 1995, pursuant to the 1994 Marrakesh Agreement, thus replacing the General Agreement on Tariff and Trade, the GATT, which was earlier. India is one of the founding members of the World Trade Organization and is fully committed to multilateralism. Importance of services. Services are the growing frontier of global trade in terms of contribution towards GDP, FDI, exports, and employment generation. Services are becoming a dominant driver of economic growth, both in developed as well as developing countries. Visa reforms. With a view to stimulating economic growth, increasing earnings from the export of services like tourism, medical value travel on account of business, thereby making India an attractive destination for foreign direct and portfolio investment, various measures for liberalization, simplification, and rationalization of the visa regime have been introduced by India. Some important changes introduced are liberalization of the e-visa scheme, tourist, business, medical and employment visas, new categories of visas such as intern visa and film visa have also been introduced. And this will give a fillip to tourism, medical value travel and media and entertainment industry. Free trade agreements, FTAs. India has signed comprehensive bilateral trade agreements, including trade in services, with the governments of Singapore, South Korea, Japan, Malaysia, UAE, and Australia. A free trade agreement in services and investment was also signed with the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, in 2014. Agreements are due with some more countries also, and these countries include United Kingdom. We'll very soon see FTAs with more nations. Trade related infrastructure, assistance to states for developing export infrastructure and allied activities. Aside, Department of Commerce has worked with states to fill infrastructure gaps through ASIDE, State Level Export Promotion Committee SLEPC, under chairmanship of the Chief Secretary of the state, approves the project to be taken up under the state component of the scheme as per approved purposes of the scheme. Trade infrastructure for export sector, TIES, has been implemented to focus on filling the gaps in terms of provision of export infrastructure and support projects with direct linkage to exports. Central state governments and the agencies or their joint ventures have majority stake are eligible for financial assistance up to 50% of the total equity of the project under this scheme. PPP projects are also eligible, that is, private public. This brings us to the end of the video on India, and the topic covered was commerce. The next video will be on communication and information technology and will be uploaded soon. In the meanwhile, please subscribe, like, share, and do press the bell icon so that you get the update on the next video. And yes, keep revising.